Okay, great to be here with you. So, the way that the first step that we took as we started on the transformation journey is we looked at trade finance and we said, how can we simplify it? And the way we think about it is, if you think about trade finance as a series or a roster of products that do a certain thing, we sort of redacted that and said, well, let's think about it as what it is. It's a receivable, right? Someone's payable and someone's receivable. So if we start with that, we wanted to find a good starting point for how can we start to build out what is essentially a simple thing and then make it only as complicated as it needs to be. So the first thing that we wanted to address was what we call the mechanical issues. And people ask all the time, why don't we do more trade finance? And why don't we have more counterparties that are benefiting from trade finance, suppliers, buyers, etc. And I always say it's not necessarily a technology issue, and it's not necessarily a credit issue or a demand issue. I think it's mostly a mechanical issue. So what we tried to do was we tried to create a ecosystem, and we wanted to sort of stand this up around us, but not be the only part of the ecosystem, where we find counterparties that are good at what they do. And sometimes that's software companies, sometimes that's fintechs, sometimes that's ERPs, and sometimes that's banks. And we all have a part in this to say, if we build this connection, this mechanical connection between buyers and suppliers, then we can take that mechanical connection and build it out. So to do this, you need a place to start, right? And not just the banks, but also the corporates and also all of the party players in the ecosystem. And so what we did was, instead of finding a really cool solution and a way to apply it, we found a problem. And the problem was paper and resource intensity, which I think is a problem for banks as we go forward, and also corporates. And it's in everyone's strategy to be more paperless and be more digital. So we said, if we take what is effectively the most resource intensive and paper intensive trade finance product, and we start with that, then we can start to see value for all the different parties in the ecosystem. So what it is it's a way to build a digital connection between a buyer and seller that we can transmit information and payment instructions through that alleviates the need for paper and operations resources. And that's effectively what Open Can Coordination is through our cash flow and supply chain finance solution.
Okay. And for